Hello. In this video, I'm going to briefly demonstrate how to obtain actionable market intelligence using several GIS modules. In this demo, we'll pretend to work for a supermarket chain looking to capitalize on the Hispanic trend by analyzing the most Hispanic dense zip codes in the Orlando and Tampa DMAs and our supermarket stores nearest to those zip codes. We'll use Winn-Dixie supermarkets for this particular example. We'll begin in the Marketscape module, where we'll obtain a list of zip codes with high concentrations of Hispanics in the Orlando and Tampa DMAs. We'll then port those zip codes over into List Gateway BaseBase to obtain the site addresses of the local Winn-Dixie supermarkets within those zip codes. Once we have those supermarket sites, we'll then map them into Retail Target to analyze their trade areas and proximity to the high-density Hispanic zip codes. From there, we'll take those trade areas and port them into Homebase to obtain a list of potential Hispanic customers within our trade areas. And once we have that, we'll then pretend that a number of those customers joined our loyal customer program, and we'll run a subset of that list through Direct Target to enrich data, appending such information as Hispanicity and ancestry. So let's get started. Here we begin with Marketscape module, and I am going to isolate the Tampa and Orlando DMA. Here's Orlando, and here's Tampa. Apply, update my map, and now we can see only the zip codes in the Orlando and Tampa DMA are being shaded in thematics. From here, we're going to create a map query to obtain the zip codes with the highest density of Hispanic population. So I have Hispanic population highlighted, and in minimum there's 0%. So of all the zip codes that are currently in thematic colors, the zip code with the smallest percent population has 0%. And the zip code with the largest percent population has 76.34%. I'm going to add that indicator to our query, and I'm going to select greater than 30%. And then I'm going to zoom in a little further. And now we can see the zip codes shaded in color, which include higher than 30% Hispanic population. From here, we're going to port these zip codes over into BaseBase module to obtain a list of which supermarket stores are in those zip codes. So I'm going to click on Get List, and I'm going to click on Business. And now we're in the BaseBase module, and our zip codes were received from Marketscape. So on the top, I'm going to click on Targeting, and I'm going to select Grocery. Here it is. Click on that. The list expanded to open the grocery section. I'm going to click on Supermarket and Other Grocery, and I'm going to scroll down. And I'm going to type in Win wildcard Dixie wildcard. The wildcards are there to help us find the name easier in case some of the stores are listed with a dash or without a dash, or have more information after the word Dixie. And I'm going to click on Quick Count. Now we get to our summary screen. We can see the geographies were received from Marketscape. Stores are Winn-Dixie, fall under NAICS grocery stores, and I'm going to click Count. Okay, and we can see that our count now came back with 12 stores. I'm going to click Create List. That's going to build the list. And now we can see in my projects that the list is waiting for payment. I'm going to click the action icon with a shopping cart. That puts it into the shopping cart. I'm going to go ahead and check out. And now that list is ready to download. However, along the left there's gray buttons, and if I go to List Gateway BaseBase and click on that one, I have more options. Here's my list. It's already purchased. I have the option to Generate Map, which will directly bring the list into Retail Target. So I'm going to click Generate Map. And here's a preview of my stores. This is an optional step of the wizard for adding data to classify sites. I don't have any, so I'm going to click Next. and then I'm going to change the name. Click Process. Purchase the stores on Retail Target. Okay. Now these stores are ready to be viewed on Retail Target. 12 stores, ready to report map. Click on the action icon. And here we have a list of all 12 stores in the Orlando and Tampa DMA. I'm going to click on Select All on the top left, and then I'm going to generate a map. Okay, so now we can see these dots represent our store locations in the Tampa and Orlando DMA. So I'm going to adjust my map a little bit, and then we'll port these trade areas over into Homebase to obtain a list of potential Hispanic customers. I'm going to select Advanced Trade Area Model for supermarkets. Okay, here's a cleaner map, taking a look at our stores in the Tampa and Orlando DMA. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the query again for the zip codes with over 30% Hispanic population. Okay, there's our stores with zip codes showing in color that have over 30% Hispanic population. And now just to take a quick look at some other interesting data, I'm going to classify our stores by Hispanic population. Okay, and now we can see that the legend shows our stores classified by Hispanic population within the trade area of each of these stores individually. Now we're going to bring in some display points to see where some of the other competitor stores fall into our trade areas. So I'm clicking on Add Display Points, and on the left we see the pop-up window for display points. I'm going to expand retailers, and I'm going to expand supermarkets, and I'm going to bring in the banners. And I'm going to zoom in to the section here in the center so we can take a closer look at those supermarkets. I'm also going to classify the banner supermarkets so we know which pins are which supermarkets. Okay, and here we can see the pins classified on the legend, and we can see that there are quite a few pins within our trade areas. So what we're going to do is run a point details report to see which pins fall inside of which trade areas. Okay, so here's my report. I'm going to sort it by site ID. And then we can see here Winn-Dixie 2213 has a Walmart, 2 Publix, and the Save-A-Lot within its trade area, as well as we can see how some of the other stores have competitor supermarkets within the trade area. Now we're going to go back to the map. We're going to zoom out a little bit so we can see all of the stores. And now we're going to take these trade areas and port them over to Homebase. First, I'm going to come into Trade Area Settings, select Aggregate, and deselect the supermarket pins, update my map. And now we're back to a clean map, and let's take those trade areas and bring them over into Homebase by clicking on Get List dropdown and selecting Consumer. Okay, here we are now in Homebase, and we can see that our trade areas were received from Retail Target, and I'm going to go ahead and filter for Hispanics by clicking on Culture on the top and selecting the cultural background to be Hispanic, and then selecting Quick Count. And now we're at the summary screen. We can see our trade areas were received from Retail Target, cultural background is Hispanic. I'm going to click Count, and that will give us a count of how many Hispanic households land within our 12 stores trade areas. Okay, I'm going to click on My Projects. Our list is being created. Once it's done, I'll go ahead and purchase it, and then we'll open it up in Excel, take a quick look at it, filter out a subset of it, and then we'll run it through Direct Target. Okay, we can see here now that we have 85.8 thousand records. I'm going to go ahead and purchase it. You can always limit this list if you don't need 85,000 households and you want something smaller. I'm going to go ahead and purchase a subset of this list, and then we'll run it through Direct Target. Okay, I went ahead and limited my list to only 1,200 names, and I purchased that list. I downloaded it, and here's what it looks like. And now I'm going to take this list and upload it into Direct Target to append information such as Hispanicity and ancestry to find out where they're from and get an idea of whether they are acculturated or bilingual or unacculturated Hispanics. And that will give me some market intelligence as to perhaps how I need to staff my supermarkets and some of the food products that I may want to consider putting on the shelf if I realize or if I notice that there's a particular country of ancestry that is predominant in my supermarkets. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Direct Target, and I'm going to browse for the list. And I'm going to go through this wizard to select the data that I want to append onto my list of loyal customers. I'm going to go ahead and select Individualize Hispanicity Segment. This will tell me whether they are acculturated or unacculturated. And I had previously selected their ethnic code for Hispanic to know what Hispanic country they're from. I'm going to click Next. First row contains field names. That's correct. Contains the column names, so I'm going to select the little checkbox. Next. And I don't really need any of these, so I'm going to deselect them and click Next. And I'm going to automap import fields, and that'll bring in the columns that I need to map out: last name, city, zip code, state. Next. And then I'm just going to remove this from the name, and I'm going to keep the analytics summary report, make it easier for me, and then I'm going to click Process. go to my projects, and purchase the list. Here we go. Now it's ready to download. And here we are taking a look at my analytic report for direct target. I can quickly see how many records processed. There were 1,200 records for the Tampa Orlando DMA. And now I quickly have an idea of what kind of Hispanics are shopping at my store based on this enriched data from the loyal customers that I uploaded into Direct Target. And if we scroll down to the next page, we'll have an idea of their individualized Hispanicity segment, and we'll know what percent they make up of the acculturated or unacculturated, depending on their category of HA1 through HA5 of acculturation. And this is how simple you can use GIS through multiple modules to obtain market intelligence that's actionable, that you can quickly act upon and be able to increase your sales and so forth. Now this is only being demoed with an example of supermarkets, but you can use this, you can use GIS for multiple other industries as well. We have solutions for many industries to benefit you and be able to increase your sales through market intelligence. Thank you.